You know, the arrival of the rainy season has always marked a turning point for farmers and homesteaders. After months of dry, hard soil and, careful water rationing, the first steady rains just bring life back to the land. For generations, rain has been both a blessing and a challenge, offering an abundance of moisture, but also, honestly, the threat of erosion, waterlogging and crop disease. The key to thriving during this time has always been one thing: knowing what to plant. The right crops during the rainy season can mean the difference between abundance and waste. This guide explores the most reliable, high-yield crops to plant when the skies open, along with practical insights on how to manage soil, water and timing to make the most of every drop. Understanding why the rainy season changes everything in crop production is, absolutely essential. Rain doesn't just provide water, it transforms the entire growing environment. The soil temperature drops, microbial life awakens, and nutrients begin to circulate more freely. This is when crops that thrive in moisture-rich conditions can achieve their full potential. However, the same rain that nourishes can also drown. Excess moisture can suffocate roots, encourage fungal infections, and wash away essential topsoil. Successful rainy season farming depends not just on choosing the right crops, but on pairing them with proper drainage and spacing techniques. A well-prepared field before the rains can absorb and manage moisture efficiently. Deep tilling before the first heavy rainfall allows air and water to penetrate the soil evenly. Adding organic matter, such as compost or manure, increases soil structure, helping it retain nutrients while draining excess water. Once this foundation is set, the choice of crops becomes the next crucial step. Crops that thrive naturally under rainy conditions, they're the backbone of successful wet season farming. In tropical and temperate regions alike, several crops have proven dependable through generations of wet season farming. Maize, for example, remains a top performer because it establishes quickly and benefits from consistent rainfall during its early stages of growth. When planted just as the rains begin, maize roots can anchor deeply before heavier storms arrive, allowing it to draw both water and nutrients efficiently. Beans, particularly climbing varieties, also perform exceptionally well during the rainy months. They fix nitrogen in the soil, which not only benefits their own growth but improves soil fertility for subsequent crops. So the key is planting them on raised beds or ridges to prevent waterlogging. Pairing maize and beans together, it's really an age-old companion planting technique, creates a symbiotic system where maize provides vertical support and beans enrich the soil. Root crops like cassava, sweet potatoes and yams are equally resilient, you know. Their underground storage systems help them tolerate brief floods and even extended dampness. Cassava, for instance, can survive on marginal soils and continues to grow even if its leaves are damaged by heavy rain. Sweet potatoes, when properly mulched, suppress weeds and hold the soil in place, protecting against erosion. Rice, of course, is the quintessential rainy season crop. Designed by nature to thrive in standing water, it converts the challenge of flooding into an advantage. Farmers in low-lying areas often use bunds or small levees to trap rainfall, creating ideal paddy conditions without the need for irrigation systems. Rice's ability to convert excess rain into yield has made it a staple across Asia and Africa for centuries. Vegetables and greens that love moisture-rich environments. Well, they're a real asset during the rainy season. Not all vegetables tolerate heavy rainfall, but certain leafy greens and tuberous plants flourish in it when managed properly. Cowpeas, okra, amaranth and African spinach, known locally as Sukuma wiki or terere in many regions, are examples of hardy vegetables that thrive when the soil remains consistently moist. These crops mature quickly and, can be harvested multiple times during a single rainy season. Taro and cocoyam, both root crops common in wet areas, also respond remarkably well to abundant moisture. When planted in slightly raised beds or mounds, they benefit from surface water without suffering root rot. In small-scale backyard gardens, intercropping taro with legumes helps balance nutrient use and, honestly, improve drainage. How to manage water and prevent losses during heavy rains? Well, that's a crucial bit. Even when the right crops are chosen, excess rain can destroy a season's work if not properly managed. The most effective farmers during the rainy season are those who control water flow, rather than letting it control them. Constructing shallow drainage channels along crop rows helps divert surplus water away from plant roots. In hilly areas, contour farming, aligning crop rows along the natural curve of the land, slows down water runoff and, importantly, prevents soil erosion. Mulching is another simple but, powerful practice. By covering the soil with straw, dry grass or crop residues, farmers protect topsoil from those heavy raindrops, retain moisture during dry intervals, and suppress weeds that thrive in humid conditions. During the rainy season, this layer also serves as a barrier against fungal spores splashing onto plant leaves. Crop rotation and spacing are equally critical. Dense planting traps humidity, creating ideal conditions for mildew and bacterial infections. Keeping a healthy gap between plants allows air circulation and sunlight penetration, which naturally reduces disease risk. Rotating crops, particularly avoiding planting the same species on the same spot repeatedly, interrupts the life cycle of soil-borne pathogens that thrive in moisture. When and how to plant for maximum yield during the rainy season? Timing is everything. Plant too early, and seeds may rot in saturated soil. Plant too late, and crops miss the early growth advantage. The ideal approach is to prepare the land before the first heavy rains arrive, then wait for consistent rainfall patterns rather than the initial showers. Once the soil has absorbed enough moisture and the risk of dry spells has passed, planting can begin. For farmers using raised beds or ridges, the shape and spacing of those mounds really do matter. Higher ridges are suitable for moisture-sensitive crops like beans and peanuts, while, shallow ridges work better for root crops such as cassava and yams. Applying compost or manure during planting enhances soil fertility, helping plants withstand both heavy rain and those brief drought periods later in the season. Why planting during the rainy season still matters in modern times. Even with today's irrigation systems and climate control technologies, the rainy season remains nature's most efficient time to grow. It reduces water costs, replenishes soil nutrients, and supports biodiversity that artificial systems simply can't replicate. For homesteaders and small-scale farmers, aligning planting cycles with natural rainfall reduces dependence on external inputs and, well, creates a more sustainable food system. The rainy season's challenges, mud, pests, and unpredictable storms are part of its reward. Those who learn to adapt and work with nature rather than against it often find their fields producing more with less effort. This, honestly, is the essence of true husbandry. Understanding timing, resilience, and the rhythm of the earth itself. Mastering the rhythm of the rains is really what it's all about. The rainy season is not just a time for planting. It's a test of preparation, patience, and knowledge. From maize and beans to cassava and leafy greens, every crop that thrives in this season tells the same story. That nature rewards those who plan ahead and respect its cycles. Whether you're managing a large farm or just a backyard plot, the key to success is the same: observe, adapt, and plant with purpose. If you found this guide helpful, subscribe to Husbandry Channel for more insights into traditional farming methods, modern techniques, and the timeless wisdom that connects both. Share this with fellow growers and help build a community of farmers who understand that the secret to abundance begins with knowing when and what to plant.